Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Leafy Camo Podcast, where we fully cover all things Pokemon. Today, we are here for episode 3. We are going to be taking a look at the League Cup that we all went to this past weekend, and some league challenges that we went to, just talking about that kind of stuff. Then we are going to be having a little bit of discussion on what's coming up for Portland Regionals in a tier list format, no less. And then, of course, wrap it up with a little discussion about what's going on in the area at the end, like we usually do. So anyway, go ahead. Feel free to introduce yourself. I'm joined, of course, by Dallas White and Bobby Lawler. One of these days, I'm going to get that right with my hands. But yeah, so how was your guys' weekend? How are you guys doing? How you feeling?
It was definitely a fun weekend. It was my first ever League Cup. It didn't go as bad as I thought it was going to go, just because there were some pretty big names out there. But ended up finishing 19th overall at 3-3, so I'm not too mad at myself over that.
Not bad. So, Bobby, how'd you do this weekend?
I was pretty good. I woke up late, so I didn't get to play the cup. So, woo! But I did stop by at the end.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Round 5 to like finals. It was pretty fine. Top 8 was pretty fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie, top 8 was fun to watch. Dallas should have stayed and watched the finals. He would have had a blast.
Yeah, it was actually a really fun finals for sure. So, but yeah, so of course I was judging the event. It was just a really fun time. This was pretty much like the first cup of our little area. So that was awesome. We had 41 total players, 35 masters, and I think it was and then 6 juniors/seniors. So pretty good overall. 6 total rounds, which was nice, and then top 8 cut. So can't really complain about that. And as Dallas kind of alluded to, we did have some pretty heavy hitters there. So what did you think, Dallas? Who did you share tables with this weekend?
It was honestly all over the place. It was nice. 2 of my opponents were people who I had previously played against. Ended up playing against in the challenge on Saturday. I had the pleasure of playing against Tyler Perry.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely a fun match for sure. Tyler's definitely got some spice in his Lost Box deck that is frequent.
For sure. So yeah, we also had some bigger names like Grant Manley, top 16 contender, going for those stipends, and then Chip Ritchie as well made it out. If y'all don't know, those guys are actually from the Carolinas. So that's pretty cool to actually see them come out and play. Happy to see that Chip, even though he's a commentator now and on that side of things, he's still definitely able to throw hands a little bit, and made himself a nice top 8 right there as well. So but yeah, so this is just a nice little event that we had. This was the top 8 that we had. I just kind of threw this little graphic together. Guy Bennett, another great local player, good friend, he ended up taking top 8, or taking it all down, first place, with Miraidon, Raikou. We're not really going to go into like super in depth on any of the lists. I have most of them, but we're not going to be trying to share everything here. But yeah, Tyler Perry took second place with Lost Zard, Chip Ritchie with
Cody.
Yeah, what?
Jonathan didn't play Guarv.
Yeah, he did. He was playing guard.
No, he played Lost Box Tina.
Oh, well, I'll fix that later. I could have sworn he was playing guard. Okay, that's my bad.
No, Alex was playing Guarv.
Okay, well, why didn't you guys say anything? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Chip was got third with Mew Path, and Grant Manley got top 4 with Gudra Lost Box. So, and then the rest of top 8 filling out right there. So that's pretty cool. So overall, it was a really fun event. just a couple pictures from the event, us, being around. So that was really cool. So, yeah, this is this was some top 8 action there. See, doing my thing, table judging and stuff like that. And then of course, congratulations to the finalists, the juniors and seniors and Guy himself. So it was just overall really fun event. I really enjoyed it. It was my first cup judging back in a really long time, and I really, really enjoyed it. So but yeah, so overall, Dallas, this was your first cup. What did you think? Like, was Best of One really as bad as you thought it was, or yeah?
So, I was always a hater on Best of One, but I found that honestly, the good players will find a way to be successful on the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly projected the Final Four to be, because good players can work themselves through pretty much whatever deck they need to. Still, I'm in love with Best of Three. It's my favorite type, but I do see the merits of Best of One from a from a speed standpoint for sure.
Yeah, organizer standpoint for sure. I did actually kind of enjoy it. Challenges especially, I think Best of One is perfectly fine. But yeah, so Bobby, since you didn't really play much this weekend, do you have anything else to add to this little extra piece of thing what we did this weekend?
Really. Not really. It was just the top. When we get to the top 8, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this was just a super fun weekend. I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah. So, but we do have the next regionals coming up. This upcoming weekend is going to be Portland regionals. Yeah. So, what are you guys thinking? Are you excited? Are you gonna be watching? I don't think any of us are even entertaining the idea of going, but
No.
that's okay. We'll let the West Coast have a little bit of love without us. But yeah, so overall, what are y'all thinking on your overall thoughts of going into Portland?
Honestly, I think we're gonna see more Miraidon than we saw these. In cups and challenges that I've seen recently, it's had a very good showing, because it sets up quickly, it hits hard. A lot of decks have a hard time responding to that so quickly. I would not be surprised to see, let's say, bold pick 2 Miraidons in top 8.
Ooh, okay, we're going over under on 2 Miraidons in top 8. Okay, I can respect it. I could definitely see 1 making top 8. I don't know. I think 2 might be a little bit of a reach, but that's fair. I'm thinking that Lost Box is going to make another big appearance. We're seeing a downward trend on Lugia right now. I think that just everybody is getting used to the new Lugia a little bit more. They're finding creative ways to get around it and stuff like that. I know, Dallas, you're a lover of the Lugia, but and like it's just inherent inconsistencies are rearing its ugly head. But I mean that's not to discount it at all. Lugia is still amazing, but I think like the more time people put into other decks and they're finding ways to get around Lugia a little bit better. So I could definitely see Lugia taking a little bit of a downturn. And then other Lost Box variants, especially, pick up more steam. So, I'm thinking that maybe we'll see kind of a flip of what we saw at like EUIC, where we'll see more Lost Box and other decks, and then a little bit less Lugia. Although EUIC we did only see 2 Lugia in top 8. So, but yeah, Bobby, what are you thinking? Overall thoughts going into Portland?
So honestly, I think for at least gonna be more there predominantly. I think Lost Box is gonna take the most of them. But I also think that Guarv is going to be not that far behind it because the deck is. I personally don't like the deck, but I know the deck is very good and it can be very consistent and it can go off quickly. Yes, you brick. That's part of the game. But it has really good matchups and it one-shots a lot of cards. So I feel it can be second to Lost Box to me. But like top 8 wise, I think Lost Box, like you said, will take it. Lugia, I feel like it'd still be there.
Okay.
I think when somebody like the right pilot, like whoever's playing the deck and they know the in and outs of the matchups, I think they'll do perfectly fine.
Fair enough. So yeah.
Overall,
I think that we all kind of agree. This is a very diverse meta. We can definitely see a lot of different things taking it. We can see Guard taking it, Lost Box, Lugia, Miraidon even could potentially take it. I think that Miraidon's a little bit more on the outside, but yeah, this is just super diverse, and you know, my personal favorite kind of formats, like incredibly diverse, and like multiple things are sitting at the top tables, which is awesome. So
yeah.
Well, you know, honestly, at the same time, we can't discount Mew. Mew's played exceptionally well lately.
It has.
Sure.
That it has.
For sure. Definitely. And especially thanks to Pablo kind of bringing a little bit of life back into Mew. We keep saying it or pretty much every week, like a lot of people are sleeping on Mew, and then Pablo gets that top 4, and boom, there we go. Now Mew's kind of all over the place a little bit, which is nice. But as we alluded to earlier, we are going to be doing a tier list. Woot woot, hype, going into this. Everybody loves tier lists. They are, of course, the most definitive way that everybody can agree on things, of course. So feel free to let us know down in the comments how our tier list is the one and only true one. And then, of course, never disagree with us ever. Of course. Yeah. So anyway, we have a very, very diverse selection here of things. So I think that it's fine just to start this alphabetical. And we can just start right off the bat with Arctura Vulpix. So this is the deck that Alex Szymanski pretty much took to win EUIC. Where are we personally feeling Arctura Vulpix going right now in the current meta?
Personal opinion, I think it's going to be grossly overplayed just because of Alex's great showing. It's only going to play well if it has a good pilot, so it doesn't deserve it, in my opinion.
I'm going to say tier 2 because it depends on the pilot.
I was thinking tier 1, borderline tier 2.
I think that we could probably put it as maybe the bottom of tier 1 personally. I think that it's probably the best Arceus deck. But the fact that it's kind of like a known quantity now definitely brings it down. But yeah, I kind of agree. It's going to end up being like top of tier 2, bottom of tier 1 kind of status. But when I'm looking at other Arceus decks here, I don't really see myself playing any Arceus deck over it except maybe Tina. I don't think that Dura on it, like the Arc Dura on its own, is enough. A Gudra, I just run the Lost Box. In my opinion, that's a little bit more consistent. And then, yeah, so that's how I think. Since we're talking about pure Arc Dura, where would you guys place this? Of course, you get the pluses of, you have less going on in the deck, but, it's still pure Arctura.
And
to me, I feel all Arceus decks are tier 2 right now.
Okay.
Because they can win, but
draw
the main tier 1 and S tier decks, if we agree on any S tier decks, they're faster to set up. And it all depends more on the pilot. To me, I believe it depends on the pilot of the deck.
Well, on my thing is when it comes to most RCS decks, they're just so linear that it's not the most difficult deck to pilot to a couple wins. But in order to take it to that next level, you have to be an exceptional pilot. So I'm cool putting pretty much all RCS decks tier 2.
I definitely feel like Gudra might be a little bit better than pure Arcdura. I think Arcdura definitely needs that little bit of extra oomph that the Vulpix provides, but I could see Gudra being all right as well. What's that?
On Gudra, I could see bottom tier 1.
Maybe I'm kind of feeling top of tier 2 because and like I kind of was alluding to earlier, I think that if you're playing Gudra, you should probably just be playing Lost Box. Gives you a few more options as well. Arctina is the only other one that I'm kind of as well kind of thinking that maybe Arctina could go above Arcdura picks. But these two are kind of interchangeable to me personally. They're probably going to both land about the same thing. What are you guys' thoughts on Arctina?
Still tier 2 in my opinion. Honestly, Tina, I prefer Lost Box Tina to Arctina just because you have more outs.
That's fair. Bobby, I know that you love this deck.
I do. So think of it, if you rely on the Arceus and then you go to Pass and Judge. If you want to play the deck that plays Pass and Judge, just play Mew. It is better than Arctina. For a fact, I know it is better than Arctina. Mew is definitely better than Arctina for that way. You set up faster, you draw it more consistently, and you don't have to worry about, would they play a pass? I can't Arceus to get my 2 cards.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say tier 2, because because one, Mew does it better than what Arctina can.
That's fair.
It hits hard, I give it that, and you can hit for the numbers correct, like perfect numbers, to me at least. Other than that, playing it and then losing to Mew and Lost Box, it feels very horrible.
That's fair. So yeah, we have a couple other Arceus builds here, like Arc Pika Vulpix and Arc Vulpix Pure. Like, honestly, I'm kind of the same. With like, why would you play these? Like, we have other Arceus versions, I guess, but
yeah, I would put them in the Y tier because there's so many better options.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, if you're playing Arc Toolbox, that's actually technically a rogue idea. At least to me, it's a rogue idea. It's because look at what's his name, Tran Makani. I'm probably butchering his name,
Mm-hmm.
Tran. He, during Lugia format in Silver Tempest, he piloted a Arc Toolbox deck to 5th place. He played around the meta. He main decked the meta.
Well, that's the thing, though.
That's rogue. That's rogue.
I guess, but like, we have a lot more diverse things in the meta that can get through it now,
Oh yeah.
So like, because I mean, like, he was pretty much hard targeting Lugia with that, and Mew to an extent, and those were the two pretty much the decks to beat at the time.
I love Lost Box.
Well, yeah, but
because
like,
Flying Pikachu helps out with Lugia and Lost Box.
Yeah, I get.
Box had an out was the Sableye.
Yeah, but like right now we have a lot more other stuff going on too, and
right now,
I don't know, but I don't know. Like, I just don't see a real reason to play it, but I suppose we could put in Rogue, Arc. I don't know anybody that's playing Arc Vulpix. Like, Vulpix is always just like a nice, like a little 1/1 line in there. I don't know.
Yeah. It's just a tech. That's it.
Yeah. So like, but yeah, I guess we can do that. I'm still kind of feeling that Arcdura Vulpix is going to end up being the bottom of tier 1. But if you guys are heavy on it, I suppose I could see it hitting the top of tier 2. Pretty much everything else though, I think is about right. Do you have any other ideas on these Arceus decks?
No.
Looks about right.
So. Yeah, for the arc, yeah.
All right. All right, next up we got block control. So this is a Sander freaking creation. At least one of them.
That's not standard.
Oh, I know this one's from down here, but I do remember like at the very start I saw Sander had something like this, and obviously people took it from there. But yeah, it's so just pure block control. How are y'all feeling on just control decks in general in this format?
Rogue.
Not
really. I personally think they're rogue, but
I think they're unnecessary.
fair.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, we have a couple other ones. Like we have the penny control. Oinkalone, I suppose, could kind of land in this little situation. So you can have this little conversation about all the kind of rogue decks. I personally love the penny control. Oh, Bobby broke it. Where you go, Bobby?
I didn't break it. I'm here.
No, well, you broke the thing. Where are you? Where's your camera? There we go. He fixed it.
No, I had it when I switched the screen. It switched over.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But okay, so I think the penny control is the best of all of these. Ignore Bobby breaking everything.
No, everybody decides to text me right now.
Well, then ignore the text.
Can't ignore my mother, but sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I don't think that Oikolone's that good, personally.
Oh god, I think it's horrible.
I kind of want to put Oinkalone in the Y. Personally, but
horrendous.
But yeah, like I mean, it's fine, I suppose. But like, if it attacked for double colorless instead of 3 colorless, and was able to recycle itself a lot faster, maybe. But the fact that it always needs that extra energy attachment is just so meh to me. And like it's not even hard for some decks to just punch through it anyway. Like they don't even care. Like, nope. But yeah, penny control is super cool though. Like this is a deck that this is the Sander deck. That he really brought to play. Plays a lot of like high HP basics like the Ursaluna, and then like the dummy doll Mimikyu, which once it's put out, it can't be touched for a turn basically, and then you just pick up everything with Penny and you just be annoying the entire game. And I think that's by far the best control deck that we have, but it's still kind of rogue. Most people are not going to pilot it well. So yeah, but I don't know. Any other thoughts on like other about control in general, kind of?
Rogue.
Yeah, either combination of rogue and Y, just because there's some.
I know why, Dallas, when I played it.
That's fair. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's about it for kind of these control archetypes. And then Darkrai.
Trash.
This deck is so bad.
Is there like a garbage bin?
A not on the tier list.
Yeah, like I honestly don't even know if Darkrai deserves to be on the tier list.
Don't play this deck. It's so bad. Like, and the thing that sucks is like, for one, it's my favorite Pokemon. He's right here, but like, I don't understand how this deck is this bad, but it just is so bad, and why? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I did see a couple people playing it at the Cup. Of course, none of them did amazing. There was a couple people that went like 3. No, I think one person went 3-3 with it, which is respectable, I suppose. But just play something better. Just don't waste your time on this deck. It's so bad. Like, I don't know why it's bad, but it just is. Like it just is, and for me, it's like it's the bottom of the bottom barrel. So yeah. Any other thoughts on Arceus? I don't care.
I mean, honestly, I'm pretty content with how the list is looking so far.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, same.
All right. Next up, we got Dialga Magnezone. It can win anything if it tries hard enough and does things. Really? You're thinking tier 2?
Honestly,
somebody's good enough to play it, then yeah.
You really think so?
I mean, it's not going to be in Y. It has potential.
The
I
only reason
guess.
is for that ability.
Okay. When you play 20 energies and you hit them off the Magnezone,
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
but it's a deck that plays 20 energies, and there's lots of Path and Roxanne and other crap in the formats. Like, I don't know, man.
hey, when you go off and get that second turn and lose because of it, hey,
So
that's why I give it tier 2.
I do have to give it some respect. It hit. It was turn 4. I got turn 4, turn 5. I got hit for 550 damage by attaching 1 energy card.
So?
Yeah.
Like...
That's painful.
So let's just give an example. Reason why I give it tier 2 is because I watched it by turn 3 take 5 prize cards away from a Mew.
Yeah,
I suppose.
That's pretty good. When turn 3 or turn 4 take 5 prizes from a Mew. Yes, I know Mew gives out 3 prizes, but you hit that extra damage right there. You take out a Genesect, cool, and then you're like, cool, I gain 40 damage per energy on it, or something like that.
Yeah, it's 40 for each metal.
Yeah, so
it's just like Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know. Dialga, to me, I really want to put it in tier 3. But I don't know. I guess it has potential. Another deck that's not on here that this kind of reminds me of is the Kyurem deck. That plays like 30 energy. It's kind of similar. I don't know. Maybe it's just me in that I like Kyurem a little bit more, but I kind of want to put it above this.
I honestly would put this in tier 3 in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll put it at top of tier 3. How about that, Bobby? Is that fair? Is that fair? I think that it's a little much to put it tier 2. When Arcdura is, some of these Arcdura
win.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, what does Arcdura do? It just gets one shot. It can get one shot by it.
That's fair.
I mean, but it likely won't.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it will.
Yeah. So, but yeah, okay. And then if I had that on this list, I actually didn't even think about it until just now. Kyurem, the Kyurem deck probably would land about the same place. I personally like the Kyurem a little bit more, but that's just me. But yeah, so next up we got a couple Gardevoir decks. We got Gardevoir Mewtwo and Gardevoir Zacian. So this is the pure Guardy, as you would say, like basically the Tord Guardy, and then obviously Gardevoir Mewtwo is going to be the Gardevoir with the V Union. So what are you guys' thoughts on these two builds of Gardevoir? Which one do you like more? Is either one of them worthy of an S tier? Like, what are y'all thinking?
So it depends. Our classifications for an S tier, I feel it needs to be as strict as possible, but I can only think of 3 possible decks that would even deserve a mention of S tier. Straight Guardy has that potential. I would be in between. I'd have to say tier 1 for Straight Guardy. Guardy with V Union, no.
Tier 2 for Guardy with the V Union.
Yeah, I would say V Union's got to go tier 2.
Okay.
Because it's not as consistent as Straight Guardy.
So the thing with me, this is how I would place it. I do consider Pure Guardy a S tier deck, but it's just barely an S tier deck. It's relatively inconsistent at times. Sometimes it can brick, but if it goes off, it is likely winning that game. If it gets set up, it's winning. And because just not much is going to beat it. Even if it's set up, like Lost Box can even potentially have a hard time beating it. And Lost Box is supposed to be the thing that beats it consistently. But like Lugia can't beat it if it's set up. Freaking Gudra even can't really beat if it's set up. Like Miraidon can't beat if it's set up. Like it's going to plow through everything, and that's what, to me, playing at its best, it's going to win.
But is it playing at its best consistently?
Yeah. And that's why I can never say Gardevoir Mewtwo is going to get close to S tier. I personally would like to still keep it as a tier 1. I think that it is an excellent deck still. It's just, if you don't get the Mewtwo going, that's 4 useless cards in your deck. And I've seen so many games, and I've played so many games where I just don't draw the pieces for the Mewtwo. And like, yeah, sure, I can definitely play to it a little bit better, but I don't know. Like, it's just sometimes you just don't have a game where you can get the Mewtwo out, and then I would much rather just have 4 other cards in the deck. And most of these Mewtwo decks, they don't even play like Rare Candy either. So like, you can't recover as well as Pure Guardy. You can't just do as well as Pure Guardy. But I do think that the Mewtwo is worth playing because it can do things that the other Guardy can't. Swinging a Pure 300. Knocking out pretty much anything is great. The damage spread, the 16 damage counters, which is amazing. Being able to potentially tank through a few attacks is nice. Just in general, like, I don't know, like, I don't think that it's worthy of tier 2, because I look at it and I see it's way better than every other deck in tier 2. I would definitely play Mewtwo Guardy over any of these Arceus variants personally.
I would.
But yeah.
Alright, so me personally, I think Guar V Union goes tier 2. You go against anything that can one-shot it, you're taking free prizes.
Well, yeah.
That's me. And honestly, the consistency of V Union isn't there compared to the straight Garf.
Drapion,
like,
Beltall.
Like, yeah. Plus, even if they're playing, let's just say an example is like Lost Box Tina. Pass Tina. Knock it out with their ability. The V power.
The only reason I cannot put V Union in tier 1 is because the difficulty to get it set up in the first place. I don't think that would qualify as a tier 1 deck, just because it's so much work and so many extra cards have to be played to even get it set up initially.
Right.
I mean, you have to get the discard to make it.
Because I was looking at it, and they play one Fiona, yeah. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, I would rather play 2, but in a way you kind of can't play 2 because the deck is already somewhat tight. And it's just like, you don't hit that piece. You have to get the Pal Pad to put back the Fiona, to draw the Fiona, to get back to the other side that you didn't even look at, to get that 4th piece. Yeah. And you don't have any real Pokemon recursion, like Clara,
Miriam.
The new one, that Miriam, yeah. And probably one other card, but still, you don't have that recursion to bring back the Garf pieces that you need. I mean, they probably play one Miriam, but you have to get it.
Yeah. I suppose you guys make some fair points, and I guess I am a little bit outnumbered there. I wouldn't ever put it lower than top of tier 2 personally, but I suppose we can make the make the compromise, and we can maybe have a little bit of discussion on is Gardevoir S tier worthy down the road once we fill this out a little bit more. So does that seem fair for our 2 Gardevoir builds right now?
No, the regular needs to be an S tier.
Yeah.
You think?
I mean,
Are you guys actually letting me put it in S tier? Good.
Yes. The regular Garv, I think, should be in S tier. Now, actually understanding why Azul put it in S tier when he did his tier list, I believe. I understand why now. The deck is it's still very good.
All right. Yeah, there we go. We get in my way. Nice. Dallas, do you have any other thoughts on Pure Guardy?
Honestly, it has beat my enough times. It belongs to be. It belongs in S tier.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's definitely up there as one of my favorite decks to play as well. So, all right. So we have a bunch of Lost Box variants. So we're just gonna do them all in good go. So Lost Zone Giratina. What are we feeling about Lost Tina right now?
Tier 1.
Tier
I
1.
say tier 1. Yes.
Okay. Do we have...
I give it the respect.
Mm-hmm.
I played it when it first came out in the format before Silver Tempest. It hits hard. It takes away the problematic cards because of Tina.
Mm-hmm.
Do consistency problems? Yes. That's what I always had problems with the deck, was consistency and trying to get to the experiment as fast as possible. And sometimes you don't even draw it. And it was aggravating. But once it goes, it goes. Now, in the mirror match against Lost Box, regular straight Lost Box, it really hurts when you draw your Vs against it. Because you have to put them down. And if that's all you're starting with, they're going to win that prize race by taking 2 prizes already from knocking out a Tina.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot much to add. I don't have as much experience on Lost Zone Tina. I've always kind of really liked just regular Lost Zone or some of the other variants that we talked about. But yeah, Lost Zone Tina, I do still respect it. I think it needs to be that tier 1 as well. Whenever we add more here, we'll probably disagree on some placements within the tiers, but yeah, certainly a tier 1 deck to be respected. So, Dallas, any other final thoughts on that?
No, I'm perfectly cool with where it is right now.
All right, Lost Zone Gudra. Definitely tier 1 as well.
Tier 2.
Tier 2? Bruh?
I'm joking. It's tier 1.
Yeah,
I was the one who's telling people that Gudra is going to be low-key good.
Yeah.
And a couple people was telling me, no, it's going to be trash.
Dude,
why is it going to be trash?
Goo is so
heal.
good. And the thing that I love about Goo is it is literally warping the meta too. It is literally saying, okay, what are you going to do about me? And it's forcing techs in index for it, which is just awesome. And then Goo can just tech back as well, which is just even cooler. So I love Goo. It is my favorite variant of like this, the V-Star Lost Box decks or whatever you want to call them, the non-basic Lost Box or something like that. I think that Goo is just so good. It's not quite up there to S tier, but who knows? Maybe if somebody perfects a list, who knows? Maybe it can start knocking on that door. At least a little bit, but it's definitely top of tier 1 here to me. So
yeah, tier 1.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. So Lost Zone boxes. This is more like just the pure Lost Zone with like Greninja, Raikou, stuff like that. Forest Seal Stones. Your tech attackers and stuff like that. Pretty much like my Lost Box. Like the one that I play a lot. Think of that, and that's kind of like the
Sky
version.
Stone.
Yeah, Sky Seal. So this would probably be just Sky Seal Lost Box. The Raikou, stuff like that.
I give that tier 1 because I feel like the Sky Stone is not so predominant
Well,
as it used to be last format.
and the issue now is that now that some people are kind of getting on the Turbo Lost Box train and the Sable Zard train, it's hard to consider traditional Lost Box to be on the same level as that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, but yeah, I kind of want to put it over Lost Zone Tina just because I feel like Lost Zone Tina can clunk up a little bit more, and it does seem to have a better matchup in that matchup. But I would not put it over Goo. You are screwed against Goo. So yeah.
So I would actually put it over Tina because it's not as much of a liability as Tina is.
Mm-hmm. So, for sure. All right. So we have Lost Zone Dragon Forest Seal and then Lost Zone Dragon Sky Seal. I personally don't see a reason yeah, well, we also have Lost Zone. Okay, so we'll treat this one like Lost Zone Turbo. How about that?
Turbo should be S tier.
Okay. So we're looking at Turbo S, and then I guess we can treat this one as I mean, do we even need this? Because we're kind of treating this as like the Sky Seal variant.
Yeah.
So like we're just gonna put this to the side because I mean we already have like enough Lost Box variants here. So so this is gonna be your Turbo Lost Box. You're playing a lot of vacuums. You're playing the Sky Seal, so you can turbo things out and stuff like that. So what are y'all thinking? Definitely S tier. I certainly agree. I think that this is probably the best variant of Lost Box. It has the most options. It's the fastest. It gets out there. Hitting 10 on turn 2 with this deck, as long as it draws well, is super easy. It's really crazy. But the question is it above guard?
It has a very good matchup against Glarv. Lost Box decks have a really good advantage over Glarv.
Inherently,
I would put it over Guardy.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, you go second, you should get that cram, and they have a Mew or a Waltz, and it's just like, boom, boom, take that free prize.
So yeah, this deck doesn't really have that many weaknesses. It's fast, it hits hard. The only thing that I can say is sometimes, it bricks, but that's to be said about every deck. And sometimes it can kind of run out of steam going into the later game, like once you've dealt with the attackers, like the Dragonite and stuff like that. And it also spreads its damage onto the bench as well, so that's making those already squishy Pokemon even easier to pick off. So yeah, it has its weaknesses. It's not infallible, but it's kind of hard to not say this deck is S tier in my opinion. Like, it's so fast, it hits so hard, and sometimes it doesn't even give decks enough time to recover, or even start the game. So I could not possibly put it lower than S tier. So
yeah, I'm 100%.
All right, so we got Lost Zone Kyogre. I suppose, sure, this is fair enough. So yeah, I know, Bobby, you love this deck. Go ahead, take it away.
I personally love Kyogre Lost Box. I love sniping stuff off the bench, especially Mew decks. Taking free prizes is awesome. I feel it's higher than the Goo version.
Really?
Of Lost Box. Yes. Because
I'm gonna have to push back a little bit on that. I don't think that it's above Goo.
You know why? You want to know why?
All right, so pretty much a little bit of post-editing here. So we kind of went on a really long tangent talking about Kyogre that we don't really need to, spend that much time on. So we're gonna just quickly fast forward through all that. Pretty much Bobby smoking some copium, and but we still respected the value of Kyogre and the strength that it had, and it did also make a top 16 at EUIC, so that's pretty cool. So anyway, let's go ahead and continue on with this and skip a 6 minutes plus long tangent of nonsense. I think we're gonna have to move on. I'm sorry, Bobby, but
I'm telling you, Tyre, I've played it.
Fair
I've
enough.
seen it played where it's absolutely by people that are absolutely amazing players with it.
Bring it this weekend.
Do
Play
it.
it this weekend.
Do it. Prove it.
Okay.
Put up. Let's go. All right. For now, though, we have Lost Zard. To me, I don't think that I can put it over Goo, but it is still exceptionally good. And I think that it's probably the third best Lost Zone variant, in my opinion. But you know, we all know how Bobby feels about Kyogre. So we're going to not discuss Kyogre anymore. We're going to talk about some Charizard, okay, Bobby?
I mean, the Charizard build's good. It gets out very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can get the Charizard out pretty decently set up fast enough, or it can take out Vs pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like, I've done it multiple times, especially when it first came out. I was able to knock out Vs pretty fast. Especially with just controlling the board with Sableye and Cram.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think that it's very strong. It's very fast. The thing that's holding it back for me is the mid game. Because you're almost always just poking 110. Maybe if you're going fast enough, you're getting the spread damage, but you're not really taking big KOs in that mid game. So you're really going for your end game almost all the time, and that's when Roxanne's are alive, and obviously your own Roxanne's are alive, but Judge can definitely mess you up a lot more, and just take you out of those in-game combos that you need. So like, it is excellent, an excellent deck. Shout outs to Tyler. He did get second place with this, with a very spicy list version of it, but yeah, so I don't know. What do y'all think?
It's good, yeah. No, tier 1's good for it. Like, even what Guy said, he thinks it's the better Lost Box build than Turbo, which I can see why it can be good. Because you just keep spamming you got the Charizard, which just hits hard. It's already 250.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easier. You can easily set it up.
Yeah. Dallas, any other thoughts? Yeah, is this a fair enough placement for it, do you think?
I think it's a fair placement.
All right, so that's pretty much all the Lost Zone decks, more or less. Like, we do have this Lost Zone drag. I don't even know whatever, doesn't matter. We got a couple Lugia decks going on here, so we can talk about Lugia Dura, and where are we thinking that Lugia Dura is gonna end up landing, you guys?
Tier 1.
Tier 1. So I kind of want to put it above Gudra, but it's kind of like, these two are kind of interchangeable to me.
I would put it Gudra.
You what?
I would put it neck and neck with Gudra.
Yeah, they're pretty interchangeable, so we can definitely go back and forth on those. I like the Dura package. I just feel like it kind of, because when we're talking the Dura version, we're usually talking like the 2-2 line of Dura and stuff like that. You know, the more dedicated Dura. Like, I know that there's a couple single strike variants that are running like the 1-1 Dura. I suppose we can lump these in there because they do have to play the impact energies and stuff like that. But I don't know. Like, I think that this is a fine deck. I think that the Dura kind of clunks it up a little bit. Too much to push it into the S tier. But that's just me personally, and in my opinion, pure single strike Lugia deserves the S tier.
I'd say tier 1 on that one.
Really? Okay.
It doesn't have. It's not like it used to be from Silver and Tempest.
Okay.
It's not that toolbox, have every answer you need. Has answers for some, but I don't give it that S tier at all anymore. That consistency got ruined. You're stuck with only one engine, and that's single strike.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, you're saying, like, you don't have answers for anything, but, like, what are you saying it doesn't have answers for? Alright, so this time I'm sparing you all about a 15-minute or so pointless conversation about semantics and what determines, archetypes and splitting up things and arguing about Urshifu and in Lugia and stuff like that, and ultimately didn't really matter, so we're going to just kind of skip all that, and pretty much we're keeping, Lugia Dura in Tier 1, and then we're kind of separating out the pure single strike and the options in that it has up in S Tier as well. So let's go ahead, just move on, and we will go from there. All right, for now, I'm keeping it S Tier. I feel it is worthy of S Tier. We can reevaluate it later and what we all mean about S Tier. Let's finally move on. Let's talk about some Mew decks. How about that? So we have a couple Mew decks here. We got Ancient Mew, so this is going to be with the Aerodactyl in. I haven't actually seen this a whole lot. What are you guys' thoughts on the Ancient Mew?
WHY. Not really necessary.
Yeah.
That's kind of fair. Yeah. I don't really see a reason to play this myself either. Like, it hurts into your... It goes into your consistency. Lugia isn't 50% of the meta share anymore. And even then, like, it wasn't even amazing at shutting it down anyway. We kind of had to high roll anyway. So, but yeah. So, I'll give you that. Why play it? There's other things that are better. So, all right. So Mew VMAX DTE. This is going to be kind of like the control Mew, the path Mew, at whatever it be.
Tier 1.
So yeah, this is definitely a Tier 1. I personally put it above Lugia Dura. But dang it, freaking Dallas. We're getting there. So I think that it's good, but that also might just be some of my bias. I love Mew. We all know that.
I mean, like, I feel that it's like 50-50 with the Dura, Lugia. Because they have to have the path and they have to have the Judge disrupt it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the path for the Duraludon. If they don't, they're losing because they can't even touch the Duraludon at all.
Good thing they run 4 of them.
Well, yeah, they have to play 4.
Let's see, now the thing is, do we think it's better than Goo? Because we did also kind of say that Lugia Dura was kind of neck and neck with Goo, Lost Zone Goo rather. What do y'all think? I think that these are, realistically, all 3 of these are probably pretty interchangeable to me.
Yeah.
So, the DTE, I do think that it is the best version of the deck. As much as I do love
definitely.
the fusion build. I'm probably gonna have to put the fusion build in Tier 2, but
I can see that.
So yeah,
I only like the dunking ability of the Fusion Strike build.
that's fair. So yeah,
That's what I like about it.
But it's not super common to turn 1 Dom and go 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
No, not in that deck. No.
So yeah, so that was pretty quick and easy with our Mew. I mean, Mew's been around for a really long time. We've gotten used to it. We know what to expect with it. Yes, we got Drapion in the meta, but like that, I think that's just a credit to the card for being so amazing. Drapion barely slowed it down. Like I love that.
No, it can hurt though.
Oh, it definitely can.
So Mew has to lose a couple points post rotation because now in Lugia decks, you've got 2 cards that are going to one hit. You have
Tyranitar and Yveltal.
Yep.
Like you have a Advisor that's going to 1-hit KO.
Yeah, that is fair, and so that is true. So I guess that is something that we can definitely say. Maybe it is under Lugia because of that reason. Because pretty much all Lugia builds are going to be playing that stuff. So,
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's pretty fair. All right, so next up we got some Miraidon decks. So we got Miraidon Flaffy. Why? I'm sorry. Why?
It is wasted deck space to use Flaffy. Like, you have electric generators. You don't also need Dynamotor. Don't be so freaking greedy.
Mm-hmm.
People like being greedy.
Yeah, so I think we're all kind of on the same boat there. Just don't. So Miraidon Regieleki Keys. I think that we can probably just put that as just Miraidon Regieleki. Because we do also have Turbo Miraidon here, and we're going to separate that out a little bit as well. So, Miraidon Regieleki, I think it's a solid tier 2. I would probably put it above Mew Fusion Strike, but I wouldn't put it above Mew Gardevoir Mewtwo. I don't know. Like, what do y'all think?
It has to be tier 2 because of the VMAX liability.
Yeah. So, and we are still seeing, the Zapdos in Sky Seal variants and stuff like that, and a lot of decks can easily just take a nice 3 prize right there, and most of them are playing the Greninja, so they can map 2-3-1 fairly easy, especially Lost Box variants. So definitely something to keep an eye out. I don't like Klefki. I think it's a bad card.
I don't either.
Like, I don't know why people are playing, and then especially in Miraidon, if you start a Klefki, then you can't freaking tandem unit, and it's just like, why? Like,
it's just there to slow down Lost Box.
I get that, but like, just be fast. Just be fast. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's okay if you like have a bricky hand and then you use the rope and then you go off. But I feel like since you use that spot for the Klefki, it's like, yeah, I can't double I can double Miraidon, but it's like, cool. It's not that great. Like, if I just open up the go Miraidon, and fill up my bench with everything I need.
Yeah, and then you hit your generators, and like you just go off, and you're just as fast. So I don't know. I still think it's worth the time to put into it, but yeah. Miraidon Magnezone. So yeah, it's definitely lower than the Regieleki. Yeah, because like at least the Regieleki gives you like the power boost, and to swing some matchups. Miraidon doesn't even, or the Magnezone doesn't even help that well against one matchup. Yeah.
Like, I like the Magnezone that V, just on the sole purpose, it knocks out weak single prizes. Like, it's super easy.
Yeah, well, I think that we're not, like, maybe a small line of Regieleki VMAX, or just no Regieleki VMAX at all, like, in this kind of variation. Because, because Regieleki Miraidon will sometimes just slot in the 1-1 line of this anyway, So, yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to even put it in tier 3, personally. I don't think it's worthy of a Y. I do see the value in it, but like, I don't know.
Still respected enough where I have to worry about it because it still hits hard, and it still can win.
I don't know. What do you think, Dallas? I'll let you be the mediator there.
I can't really be the mediator there. The issue is it's still such a new deck, but the sheer liability aspect of it, I can't jump on that train.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of have to put it in tier 3, Bobby. Like, it is still worth it, because I mean, it is definitely in some of these other decks that is worthy of respect. Like, we got put Dialga and stuff in there. It is worth respect, and that's why we're not putting in Y. Yeah, in my opinion. So I don't know. Does that sound about right? So.
I still think it's worth more than 3.
Yeah.
I'm still saying that it's better than a lot of people give it. Like, I personally don't like Miraidon decks. I don't like to me it feels too fragile.
Yeah.
Okay. Question.
But like, I still give it that credit where when it goes it goes.
Question: why not put it in the Y tier when there's better Miraidon decks?
Because there is value in it. It does have a pretty good Lost Box matchup, and it can definitely it has a better Lost Box matchup. It has a better and it helps with guard too, and it has a better Lost Box matchup than like Miraidon Regieleki with just the little 1-1 line in there, because you're playing more into that play than like just the little small tech line, So that's why I have to respect it at least a little bit, but that is fair. Yeah, but last but not least, we have Turbo Miraidon. So I'm going to ignore that there's a Regieleki on here, and we're going to talk about just pure Miraidon with Raikous and other cards. Think of the one that Guy won with. We're not gonna really like try to spoil his list or anything. Obviously, we need to respect that. But think of that. Was that Dallas?
Oh, it was a very good list. I appreciated it.
So yeah, what do you think, Bobby?
Bobby hates Miraidon.
No, I'm trying to. No, I'm not saying I don't like the deck, but I'm still trying to think of it like in that aspect. Because he built that version of the deck, and he knew the in and outs of what what it can do, and what the matchups were about. Now, if you give it to somebody else that doesn't understand why he built the deck the way it is, they're not going to have the same result as he did.
I mean, while I agreed, like we have other decks on this, like giving these higher pairings, like your Kyogre deck. Because we're including the value of like somebody that knows what they're doing with the deck. So like, I think that this is really solid. Like, yes, it's a very well constructed deck, and it certainly put up this past weekend. And I can definitely see that a lot of people taking this more route because, like we have been talking about with the Regielekis, they're good. But maybe they're not entirely necessary, and they are a massive liability, especially into Sky Seal variants of decks. So yeah.
Yeah.
I
still say high tier 2.
I was gonna say low T1.
I'm really on the fence here.
That's why I say high tier 2, and it'd be low tier 1. So it's more like a 1.5.
Yeah. I will put it in bottom of tier 1. I think it's really solid. I think that's the push that Miraidon needed to get up there. I would play it over Gardevoir Mewtwo myself, but
so would I.
Yeah. I would play it over Lost Zone Kyogre, but I don't feel like starting another argument. So we're gonna just move on. We've already been here long enough. So yeah, I think that this is the push that Miraidon needed to move up a tier. Like I was always saying, like I don't want to spend money on Regielekis that much money on Regielekis for a tier 2 deck. Well, now it's a tier 1 deck, and it didn't need the Regielekis, so there's that. So yeah. So finishing things off, we got a few couple decks. We got Rapid Strike. So this is going to be like the Rapid Strike Urshifu with the Rapid Strike Inteleons and the Painful Spoons, Alakazam, and all this other cool fun stuff, moving damage counters around, and yoga loops happening. It's a very flashy, very cool deck. Personally, though, I can't really put it above tier 2. It's definitely above probably these Arceus variants, personally, but I don't know.
It's 2.
I say tier 2.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a very flashy deck, but like it might make a top 8, but it's probably not taking home the gold.
That setup is pretty nutty though.
Oh yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's a fun, cool deck. And then last but not least, because we're kind of ignoring this one because I don't really know what this would be, Shadow Rider. So Shadow Rider has kind of evolved a lot. They're using things like Hatterene V, what is it, Teleportation Burst or whatever it's called, does like 80 damage and then switches to the bench, and then they try to stall with like Clef Keys and stuff like that, and they're using Radiant Eternatus or just straight up evolving up to their stuff. Yeah, so you're saying why, Bobby? You want to expand on that?
It doesn't do anything. I mean, I'll play. Let's just pick another. I'd rather pick the Miraidon. Let's go with Prize Advantage. They're taking 2. I'm taking the 3.
Okay. Any
Let's
thoughts
go
at all,
with-
Dallas?
I think it belongs in the trash can if we're being honest.
And so what? Yeah.
I'm really the only one that thinks that this might actually have something to it. Like, I mean, don't get me
No,
wrong. Don't get me wrong. No, I'm not saying this is going to freaking top 8 or anything. Like, you know, I can see this making day 2. I can see this definitely making a day 2.
know.
You know, and like, if I'm looking at all these other decks in here, like, I'm kind of respecting it as much as, like, freaking Arceus binder box. Like, come on.
No.
I mean,
And
it's the
Radiant
bottom
Tourney is
of this
cool.
list, but like,
Yeah, but you can play Radiant Tourneys, but then you have to end your turn, and it's just like, oh.
I mean, yeah, but you're getting
Ew.
value out of it, like, you know, and you're stalling.
Yeah,
You're
waiting
putting.
to be knocked out.
I don't know.
I don't, yeah, because you even have Gwarv. You can even go with Gwarv with
I mean,
Shadow Rider,
yeah.
and it doesn't do anything. I'd rather just play the V Union at that point.
Oh my god.
At least the V Union can actually knock out a whole bunch of stuff, and then like, oh, let me heal.
Okay, fine. I will concede, but I'm putting it at the top of Y at least. Like, it matters if it's at the top of the trash can. So.
Oh, it matters.
I guess it matters. I don't know. So, all right. So anyway, for those of y'all listening, I hope you guys enjoyed the tier list discussion. But we have currently right now we have our S tier. We are sitting with Turbo Lost Box, Pure Gardevoir, Wizachian and friends, and then Single Strike Lugia V-Star. Bobby, I'm keeping it in S tier. I'm sorry. I like it.
Worthy.
I think it's super worthy of S tier.
I don't think it is.
I do think that probably if I had to put money on it right now, I think that Turbo Lost Box is probably the best deck in the format, but it's a very narrow margin. It's a very narrow margin. I can see any of these 3 decks take it. Personally, maybe not Lugia. I think Lugia is still top 3, but I don't know. Yeah. I like Lost Box, but I'm a Lost Box lover. You know that. So, all right, Bobby, fine. Of these 3, what's your BDIF?
Probably Turbo Lost Box.
Okay.
Like, until otherwise, because, like, one guy even made a good point, like, yesterday. He even asked me the same question, and my answer was, it's still kind of early.
Mm-hmm.
We've only had 2 real events in our, not in Asia, but in, like, our areas wise, like, we just got our rotation. So, honestly, we don't know. This is all speculation.
Mm-hmm.
So, I personally feel it's the turbo version, but who knows? It could be the Charizard version. It could be the Mew. Who knows?
All right, that's fair. Dallas, I feel I already know, but what's your BDIF of these 3?
I actually don't think you know.
Really?
I'm a Lugia player. Lugia is not my answer.
Okay, fair enough.
For me, Lugia is great. There's a huge brick potential.
Mm-hmm.
Gardevoir is fantastic. Sometimes it doesn't get set up. To me, right now, Lost Box is hands down the most consistent deck in format. There's so many different flavors to it, but Lost Box as a whole is the most consistent deck in the format. And because it's the most consistent, I have to give it best deck in format.
That's fair. And you can take that in pretty much any ways. Like Bobby said, like there's a lot of variations of Lost Box. So one variation could be the BDIF on one day and then not on the next. And I don't know. But yeah, I would have to agree. Consistency is king, and Lost Box is consistent. It bricks, yes, but not as much as other decks. So yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, that's in my opinion the top 3. We have a little bit of pushback on Lugia being in the S tier, but I think it's fair. And then for also those listening, we got tier 1. We got Lugia, Dura, Mew, DTE, Control Mew, Lost Zone Gudra, and I think that we can kind of all agree those three are somewhat interchangeable. There, and then we have just a slew of Lost Box variants like Lost Zard, Lost Sky Seal, Lost Zone Tina, Kyogre, and then we have Turbo Miraidon to round up the tier 1. Tier 2, we have at the top we have Gardevoir, Mewtwo, and then Miraidon Aleki, Fusion Mew, Rapid Strike, box, and then a bunch of Arceus variants like Arcdura, Vulpix, Arctina, Arcgoo, and Pure Arcdura. And then to finish out the tier 3/Rogue, we have Miraidon, Magnezone, Dialga, Magnezone, Penny Control and Block Control, and then Arceus Binder Box, basically. And then to the Y, don't play these decks. Shadow Rider, which I'm still kind of pet decking a little bit. That's fine.
We all did.
Miraidon, Flaffy, Ancient Mew, Arc Vulpix, Oinkologne, and the deck that shall not be named. So, yeah. Yeah, no, we not name it. God dang it. So yeah, that's our little tier list. I know this one's gone a little bit long, so we're gonna try to wrap up our usual event locator segment a little bit quicker than we usually do, because I think that pretty much we only really have one event, one worthwhile event, that being the cup up in Fletcher. Coming up this weekend. We do have a couple challenges in the area. I think we got one in Hickory or something like that. Let me do these filters. I don't know. Let me do these filters. I had to go out for 250 miles, so let's go down a little bit. Excuse me. So okay, actually, never mind. There is nothing. Excuse me. So we're literally only talking about one tournament today. We're just going to be the cup out in Fletcher. So I know that there is some other stuff like farther east and stuff like that, but so the deck box in over near Asheville area and stuff like that. We did confirm that it's best of 3, correct, today, right, Dallas?
Correct. I sorry to call. So I went through and called the shop today just to make sure, because that was going to influence my deck choice, and the shop did confirm that it is best of 3. Tournament starts at 11. It's recommended to arrive by 10 p.m. By 10 a.m. You have to go through deck checks, get signed up, all that good stuff. There is no pre-registration. Just show up, pay your $15, and play.
Yeah. Now it does say $5 on here, so we might have to talk to them and be like, hey, make sure that you got the right things on there. But yeah, so yeah, this is looking pretty good. I love seeing some stores running the best of 3. As we all know, best of 3 is the best representation of skill. So I could definitely see some people making it into top 8 and feeling like they earned it a little bit more, which is awesome, which is definitely what you want to see. It is going to be a very long day though, so if you are going to this, be prepared. It's going to take a while. So yeah, especially this is one of the more early cups, so it's probably going to have a decent turnout as well, because we have a regional, but it's on the other side of the country, so not a lot of people are going to be traveling for it. So there's that. But yeah, Bobby, any other final thoughts on this? Are you actually going to show up to this one, put up with the Lost Zone Kyogre?
Care. I'll play whatever Lost Box. I was thinking even playing the Charizard Lost Box that actually got finals.
That's fair.
But I thought Kyogre was so good.
Do what?
But I thought Kyogre was so good.
It is good. You just don't understand why is it good.
Then put up, bro!
I'm sitting here reading.
I was playing it before. Before even we made this podcast, I played it for the last of the Silver Tempest.
Bro!
And even before the podcast.
We gave you the tier 1 slot. Now you have to prove it. Come on, bro.
I don't
Come on,
care.
bro.
I'll play whatever Lost Box. I have everything for any Lost Box.
Alright, so. Alright. So, to be determined.
Play it as the turbo.
To be determined. We will be back next week to see if Bobby put up or shut up about Kyogre Lost Box. But for today, that is going to be it for us. Thank y'all so much for watching. A little bit long in the tooth on this one, but you know, tier lists are always fun like that. So that's going to be it for today, though, guys. Dallas, Bobby, do you have any final thoughts for the day?
Absolutely not. I'm just looking
Really?
forward to showing up to Fletcher and trying to improve on the 3-3 from last weekend.
For sure.
Went undefeated last weekend.
I mean, it helps.
I was the real winner.
Okay, good buddy. I think Guy might have something to say about that. But yes.
Who was it? Somebody asked me what my record was, and I was like, undefeated, and you looked at me. You're like, you didn't even play. I'm like, that's why I'm undefeated.
Oh my god, so yeah. But anyway, that's going to be it for us today, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. Like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff. We love you all. Deuces.
See you
Later.